Just one question. How many FBI employees have left, retired, resigned, or been fired since January 20th? I want a number. Kash Patel, someone who has navigated every tough question with bureaucratic language for 11 months, deflected with success statistics and turned deflection into an art. He couldn't answer this question. We will inform you. Don't you know the figure right now? It's not on the top of my mind. Mazie Hirono waited, calculated. Then he said, "Can you really be surprised by a figure like 5,000? The room fell silent. And Patel's hands, the hands that had been resting loosely on the table, straightened. His fingers turned white. Watch the entire video, because these 2 minutes represent much more than just a political debate. But to understand those 2 minutes, one needs to grasp why Hirono asked that question, and why that question is so important. Chapter 1. Who is Hirono Kim, and what did he want in this trial? Mazie Hirono, Hawaii Senator, member of the Senate Intelligence Committee. Hirono doesn't put on a show when questioning. She doesn't aim for drama. It aims to record a specific thing, that the answers were not given, and for these rejected answers to be recorded in the minutes. This approach aims for long-term documentation, not a fleeting viral clip. If an FBI director cannot or does not answer a fundamental institutional question in a congressional testimony, that silence is meaningful in itself. That day, Hirono entered that room precisely to do just that. Chapter 2. The first 30 minutes. The Senate Intelligence Committee entered its afternoon session, the wood-paneled room filled with C-SPAN cameras, and Patel took his place with his usual upright posture, flanked by 3 lawyers behind him and 2 aides beside him, with a binder on the table that would remain unopened. After thoroughly answering budget and counterterrorism updates in the first 30 minutes, Hirono took the microphone. Section 3. Single-digit question. Director Patel, I want you to give me a single number to understand the scale of personnel changes at the FBI since January 20th, indicating how many employees have retired, resigned, been dismissed, or left their positions. Patel didn't flinch. We will keep you informed, Senator. Standard defense. But Hirono continued. What is the number? I want to get the correct figure. Don't you know right now? It's not off my mind. I want to get the right number. Hirono paused. Would a figure like 5,000 surprise you? Silence. 5,000. It's not a routine turnover rate. If this figure is correct, it is a sign of a transformation on an enterprise scale. I think this number is not correct, Patel said. You don't know, Hirono said immediately. Next question. Next question. Chapter 4. Step by step. Cornering. Hirono followed her list, firing off questions in succession, first asking, how many special agents or analysts have left or been fired since January 20th, 2025? Patel said he would share the numbers, separating out voluntary retirements and those who didn't meet standards, but Hirono cut him off, saying, but no one knows what those standards are, and immediately moved on to, how many deputy directors or assistant directors have left or been fired? Stopping Patel. I'm moving on to FBI leadership, and you don't have that answer. It was about documenting, not asking. Ensuring the denial is recorded in the minutes. Next question. Which field office lost the most personnel? Patel changed direction. In fact, every field office, including Hawaii, has seen an increase in agents because we are directing agents to the field. Hirono pressed. So you're saying that no field office lost personnel? Is this your answer? There is an increase in Hawaii, Patel insisted. We increased in every state so the FBI could continue its historic successes. And then that sentence came. The trending sentence. When talking about the expulsions, you're looking for a media story and a donation clip, and I won't give that to you. When talking about expulsions, you are looking for a media report and a donation clip, and I will not give it to you. If you want to regularly follow this kind of corporate and political analysis, subscribe to our channel and keep the notifications on. Let's continue. Chapter 5. The room exploded. Voices rose from the gallery. The reporters jumped from their seats. The committee members looked at each other. Patel had accused a sitting senator of soliciting political donations on a live stream. Hirono continued, maintaining her composure. It's not important. I just want to know how many people have left. And I think your statement is that no one has left. No, this is not my statement, Patel replied. You asked once, I answered once. You didn't get the answer you expected. Keep asking. And I said I would share the numbers with you. There was something else in the room now. This was not standard conference theater. This was an unscripted, face-to-face argument between two people who really didn't like each other. Chapter 6. California and Florida. Hirono asked the question, which field office has received the most personnel since January 2025? Patel responded, the largest allocation was made to California, followed by Florida. And everyone noticed that these two states had the highest immigrant populations and where the administration aggressively implemented its immigration policies. So this personnel concentration meant reinforcement for immigration operations, not terrorism or cybersecurity. Hirono emphasized this. The FBI is carrying out tasks that local police cannot handle, combating terrorists, hackers, and spies. I want to evaluate how it is handling these special missions. Patel replied, the largest allocation was made to California, followed by Florida. And everyone noticed that these two states had the highest immigrant populations and where the administration aggressively enforced immigration policies. So this personnel concentration meant reinforcement for immigration operations, not terrorism or cybersecurity. Hirono emphasized this. The FBI is carrying out tasks that local police cannot handle, combating terrorists, hackers, and spies. I want to assess how they are handling these specific missions. Chapter 7. Leadership Gaps. The deputy directors responsible for the FBI's National Security and Intelligence Divisions were removed from their positions at the beginning of the year. Who replaced them? The perfect qualified personnel to carry out the mission, Patel said instantly. Who are they? What are their names? I won't give their names so they won't be attacked. Hirono stopped. Why would they be attacked? Because they might be attacked, Patel repeated. I won't do that. But Hirono didn't let the question go. FBI Cyber Division. Since the president took office, both the Deputy Assistant Director of the Criminal and Cyber Division and the head of the FBI Cyber Division have left. Who are the ones who have taken their places? The Cyber Unit is one of the most impressive units of the FBI, Patel said. This year, 409 arrests, 169 convictions. A 42% increase compared to the same period last year. I want to know who is in those positions. Highly qualified individuals are in those positions. Who are they? What are their names? You don't know, Hirono finally said, not as a question, but as a statement. And at that moment, the essence of the conflict became clear. Hirono wanted accountability. She wanted specific answers about who runs the world's most powerful law enforcement agency. Patel was offering mission statements, success metrics, and deflections wrapped in patriotism. Chapter 8. Where are the counterterrorism experts? Hirono asked the question directly. FBI counterterrorism special agents and investigators were reassigned to assist with immigration operations. Have these specialists returned to the jobs they were trained for since then? Yes or no? The primary responsibility of FBI agents is to do exactly what they are assigned to do, Patel began. Did they return to their duties? Hirono interrupted. You don't let me answer, Patel said, his frustration now visible. Why don't you do your monologue in the remaining 4.5 minutes? I don't have a monologue. Just yes or no. They never broke up, Patel said. What did you say? Hirono leaned forward. They never strayed from their primary mission, Patel repeated. That's your statement, Hirono said flatly, and continued. Chapter 9. Physical Tests and Recruitment Standards. Hirono changed the subject. Applicants are asked to perform certain pulling movements. Due to physiological differences, many women cannot do this. Is this standard mandatory? We make a physical program mandatory at Quantico, Patel said. because FBI agents who carry weapons and work in the field need to chase and handcuff suspects. The physical fitness standards were designed with the pull-up in mind. If you are going to chase down and handcuff a bad guy, you need to be able to do a pull-up. There are concerns about whether these standards are really mandatory, Hirono said. A tug is not a hard pull, Patel said, but everyone understood what was unsaid. The hiring standards were being changed. These changes could systematically exclude women, older applicants, and those without a university degree. Chapter 10. The Final Accusation and Patel's Response. Hirono summarized everything she had accumulated throughout the hearing in a single sentence. Mr. Patel, I stated before the vote on your nomination, your most important qualification was your 100% loyalty to President Trump. And I fear that this loyalty continues to be your primary motivation for the directorship. The room really fell silent. Patel's mask slipped for 3 to 5 seconds. Anger, disappointment, the fatigue of maintaining this performance for hours. Mr. President, Patel said, his voice controlled but firmer, this is a completely false statement. You can erase my 16 years of public service however you like. I served as a public defender. I served as a national security prosecutor. I worked on the House Intelligence Committee. I was the Deputy Director of Intelligence. I was the Principal Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense. I led counterterrorism operations for the White House. This is just a small part of the duties I have undertaken in my 16-year career. There was no loyalty then either. There isn't any now either, except for loyalty to the Constitution. It was a good speech. It was well prepared, resume ranking, emphasis on the Constitution. But Hirono hadn't asked about her past. She had asked about the present. If you want to follow this topic, subscribe to our channel and keep the notifications on. We continue to share analyses related to this process. Now, let's see what this hearing documents. Chapter 11. What remains in the minutes? Hirono's strategy was not to create a momentary explosion. It was to create long-term documentation, and he succeeded. The minutes included the following. The FBI director refused to disclose in an open session how many employees had left since the previous start date of the position. He refused to disclose the names of those in senior leadership positions. He did not answer clearly whether counterterrorism experts were reassigned, and the changes to hiring standards were presented to the public. Each of these serves as starting points for independent investigations and potential subpoena processes. Chapter 12. Claim or Reality. The figure of 5,000. The number proposed by Hirono is not an official FBI figure. It has not been independently verified by publicly available sources. Reassignment claims. The allegation that counterterrorism experts were shifted to immigration operations was dismissed by Patel. Independent verification is not available. California and Florida allocation. Patel said it himself. Verified information. But the comments on the reason for this assignment are controversial. Patel's 100% loyalty characterization. This is Hirono's assessment before Patel's appointment, based on interpretation. Making these distinctions is critical for understanding such political debates. Last, unanswered call. 2 minutes. Hirono asked a single question, and that question was not answered directly. How many FBI employees have left since January 20th? A simple corporate question, a piece of data routinely tracked by every organization. The FBI director could not answer this question or did not want to answer it. This silence is not a legal violation, but it is an important reference point in the discussion of institutional transparency. Because in order to evaluate an institution's capacity, it is necessary to know how many people left that institution and under what conditions. Without this information, the audit remains at a theoretical level, and the lack of that number makes this theoretical audit even more difficult. If you have followed this analysis up to this point and want to keep up with discussions on corporate accountability, subscribe to our channel and keep notifications on. We will continue to analyze the developments of this process here. You can share your opinions in the comments. Where does an institution's obligation to transparency begin, and where does it end? See you in the next video.